Tomorrow's challenges are going to be big and fast and complex. We cannot solve them with today's cognitive structure, with today's organization. We cannot solve them with today's intelligence. I'm Gianni Giacomelli. I am a researcher and a consultant. I work in the space of application of artificial intelligence to organizational design and process transformation in companies. The work of predicting the future has never been easy. But it's clear that in the last few years we've experienced things that we've never seen before. And this is not just about tariffs. We're talking about the increased emergency of effects of climate change, but we don't know how fast things will accelerate, and clearly there are tipping points that might change very radically how the ecosystems work. The second aspect is really aspect of artificial intelligence. And this actually might mean that in the near future you will have a reshaped supply and a reshaped demand for your products. Material science is evolving, and the science of, for example, genetics are evolving. So new things will actually become more effectively usable faster than they used to in the past. We used to have very long cycle times. On the demand side, you might actually have situations where you have additional entrants or new people competing for your own customers because their material science. I think about the fact that the world has experienced some of these things in the past. We created plastics at some point, and the world now is full of plastics. What is the next material that is going to be created? And we know one of the most important uses for artificial intelligence in science is around material sciences. So with this background in mind, I think the fundamental thing for CEOs to think about is that the organizations that you have may not be fit for purpose for what's coming. The speed in which your organizations are going to be able to sense the changes and react to them may not be the one that you need in a future that will change a lot faster. It's not your fault. Organizational science has evolved slowly. But the reality is that these changes that we just talked about don't care about organizational science. Collective intelligence is an organizational design set of principles and methods that basically says that the brain is not this. The brain is results of the collective work of people around us, of our ecosystem, of our processes, and they influence very radically how we think and what we do. And that is what a supermind is. And a supermind can be multiple levels. It can be a team. It can be a department. It can be your own organization. It can be a group of companies that work together on common R&D projects, for example. Collective intelligence in itself, the study that we've done at MIT, and now there's a large ecosystem around this as well, is basically about helping leaders and managers understand how they can use these principles to build more performing, more effective and efficient organizations. And so you can design your own supermind if you know how to use what is called the high leverage points. These things are not plug and play. There's no button to push. Instead, they emerge from the interplay of all these components, and there are 4 ways to actually get that built. The nodes in the networks are the individual people and the individual machines that have specific characteristics. Think of an expert of a certain crop, or think of an expert in a certain production process, or an expert on pricing of something, or an expert on legislation. But also think increasingly of machines that have very specific properties and characteristics. Identifying those network nodes is almost like in a network of neurons in a brain, identifying which parts of the brain are going to be useful for you. Typically, that inventory doesn't exist. You might meet people at conferences, you might read some things on websites, but you don't really have a map. And you really want to build that map so that you can access those resources efficiently when you need them. The second part is the learning infrastructure. Every one of those nodes are great, but they're not great forever, especially in conditions that change very fast. So what you want to do is to build an infrastructure for learning. The value of learning is not a value for right now. It is a value for building an infrastructure in your head that you can bring to bear when new conditions arise in the future. So the learning infrastructure gives people the tools to face the future, not the present. Then these people also need to face the present. Knowledge management is harvesting the knowledge from those nodes, making sure that you don't lose the right knowledge, that right knowledge is accessible quickly to people. You don't need to go to that machine or that person if the knowledge is already stored somewhere. It is typically not done particularly well, I must say, of all the practices that we have organizations. And certainly they're not done that way very well in ecosystems. But I do encourage you to think about ecosystems knowledge management. And the last point is about connectivity between all those nodes. Those nodes work with each other and figure out what to do. And that requires a collaboration infrastructure that is frictionless, that enables the appropriate questions, answers, creativity, brainstorming between the nodes when the answer is not immediately easy to find. And that collaboration infrastructure can also be built by an ecosystem or the catalyst of that ecosystem. So those four things, when they come together, they create that collective brain that we call the supermind. Maybe one thing I want to leave you with. We talked about the challenges and the fact that the challenges are going to be more complex and faster than in the past. One thing that you can do is to try not to fight tomorrow's problems with yesterday's intelligence. What you really want to go and build is tomorrow's intelligence, the ability to face tomorrow's challenges with things like superminds, things that create an intelligence that is a good match for tomorrow's problems.